Hello and welcome to the ninth episode of The Lives of. I'm your host, Audrey Creighton, and I'm so excited to share that for my ninth interview, I've chosen an amazing person and friend, Debbi Laatz. Debbi's work in the medical field helps people every single day. Plus, her business making blankets for little kids has become so successful. All of her awesome work makes me look up to her in so many different ways. I can't wait to get started, and as always, thank you so much for watching.
Am I
There
good?
we go. Uh-huh. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good.
Do you want to get started?
Sure. My childhood. Let's see. I was born in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And my sister was born there as well. My dad was in grad school and my mom was in nursing school. And then we lived there for just a little while and then moved to Columbia, South Carolina, where my brother was born. And we moved around a lot, but I mostly grew up in Toronto,
Mhm.
and Edmonton, which is Western Canada, and then Woodland Hills, California. And
Nice.
it was great. It was great. Still, my sister is in Santa Monica now,
Mhm.
so I still get to see her a couple times a year. Um, she's a producer out in California. My brother, who I see also, he's a functional medicine doctor out in New Mexico in Santa Fe, which is great. Great, another great place to visit. My mom still lives in Toronto. She's a retired therapist, and now she paints. And my dad's a retired psychologist, and he has an alpaca farm in northern Florida with a bunch of animals. Very crazy.
Nice.
Let's see. So my job at Health Carousel, I'm a travel nurse recruiter. So I basically help nurses um, in hospitals get jobs all over the country. It's pretty busy because the contracts are usually 13 weeks at a time. So once you get somebody on an assignment, then you're like having to get them on an assignment in just a couple months. Um, and it's a lot of dealing with personalities, multiple personalities, because so many nurses, and the travelers are definitely, they're great, but they they are just, it's a lot of different personalities to manage. And with Love Sara, which I've been doing for since Sarah was born, that it was a job that I started doing when Sarah was born because I didn't want to go back to work. And I told Dave, my husband, that I would figure out some way to make money in order to not have to go back to work. And I didn't know how to sew, but I had just recently made a blanket for like my first friend who had a baby.
Mhm.
Um, and it was a padded blanket because I knew she was going to be coming to my house. And we had like very hard ceramic floor, like these Mexican floor tiles. So I made this blanket for her. And I remember talking to my sister, and my sister said, "You should just make those blankets." And I thought, like, I really have no idea what I'm doing. But I just started making blankets, and I did get better and better.
Mhm.
Um, and I've been selling them a lot. Like I had when I was selling them in stores and selling them directly through my website.
Mhm.
Some entertainment industry people saw them, and I do have a handful of like celebrity clientele that have my blankets, which is pretty cool. And it's just been great. It's been really fun. I don't, I work full time.
Mhm.
Most of the time I'm working from home. So when I do the blankets, it's usually on the weekends or at nighttime. Sometimes like a whole entire weekend will be devoted to sewing and finishing orders, which can
Mhm.
sometimes be rough because I'm the only one who's making them. But I love that people keep coming back, and people who got them as baby gifts will give them as baby gifts, and then
Mm.
they'll get a baby blanket, for the first one, and then they'll order a park blanket for when their kids are bigger. And like now I'm kind of getting into the stage where people are ordering college logo blankets for their kids going off to school.
Mhm.
So it's fun. It's rewarding.
Mhm.
Um, and what else did you ask about being a mom of three kids?
Yeah.
Um, that's been like, it's been such a blessing. They're great kids. I never wanted to have teenagers. I was really afraid of the teenager age. Like babies, little kids, I was fine, but they're now all teenagers. Sarah's older, she's 22, she's our oldest, and I love it. It's great. They're really fun to talk to. They have a different outlook on life and bring a lot of freshness to conversations, and things that I sometimes wouldn't think of. Um,
Mhm.
there was one time we were all sitting around and I was complaining that they were on their phones too much. And Christopher started talking about something going on in China that I had no idea about. And he said, see, like, I know this because, I'm on my phone and I'm reading the news.
Mhm.
So I constantly learn new things from them. And they're just great little people. I love them.
Yeah. Nice. Uh,
Um, well, I love going to see my sister out in California. I love hanging out with her. We do a lot of hikes and great meals. Um, Usually she's got some crazy spa she wants to go to. The last one we went to was called the Wee Spa, and it was in downtown, and you had to be completely naked, which was crazy. Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that one again. Um, and my brother, usually if like we go out to New Mexico or we see him, he does a lot of hiking too. He does a lot of biking, and it's usually always outdoor stuff. My kids here, like when usually the boys are working a lot. Lately, they play a lot of golf. So I recently took up the sport of golf. So I've been to the driving range a couple times, and I played my first 9 holes of golf yesterday, which
nice.
was that I had like maybe two shots that were really good, and the rest
Mhm.
were terrible. Um, so I definitely need to be at the driving range, and probably don't really have any business being on a golf course anytime soon again. But it was fun. I love driving the little golf cart, and those things are super fast. But that was really fun, and it was fun to hang out with my husband and Christopher yesterday. So that's been kind of cool.
Yeah,
So
that sounds
usually love
fun.
that kind of things.
Mhm.
Dave's a really good cook, so we spend a lot of time eating his food and waiting for seeing what he's preparing. So we spend a lot of time in and around the kitchen. And thank God he's a good cook, because otherwise, I don't know what would happen. I'm not that great. I can cook a couple things. So,
Yeah, he is a
yeah.
very good cook. That's true.
Yes. Let's see. Well, I mean, it is a business that's been around. I mean, it's been around like 22 years, but it's not, I don't advertise. And I mean, I do have a website, and I do have an Instagram. So I post things on that. Um, but most of my clients have been word of mouth or referral people. So basically for me, what I just need to do is make sure I have my supplies on hand. So I
Mhm.
get my bandanas from a company in North Carolina. I get my rolls of batting, huge rolls of batting from a company in Columbus. My boxes that I ship things in, I get from actually a guy, like a company down on Wayne Street or Wayne Avenue, which is like this
Nice.
international box company that ships all over the world. And they sell me my little bundles out the back door. But yeah, basically it's just um, answering emails from my website, and
Hmm.
I get text messages all the time from people just ordering, and basically just making sure that I put out a good quality product, and that there's a lot of discussion up front of what they want and what colors and what designs, and I do a lot of suggesting because sometimes people just really have no idea. Um, and then yeah, just I love it. I love from start to finish. Getting personalizing them, wrapping them. I've got tissue paper that is like a bandana print. So a lot of thought went into like the stickers and the ribbon and the tissue paper and my label and all that. So it's fun. It's fun to. I like being that girl, like known as that girl that makes those full blankets. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's very cool. Nice.
I would have to say, so far it would be like the beaches in Mexico, either like Aquamal, which is in the Yucatan, or Rosarita, which is in like Baja. Um, I just love anywhere that there's, warm weather, a beach, not a lot of people, and just hanging out, good food. I hope to travel more to find some more favorites, but right now I'd probably say Mexico.
Yeah.
My favorite hobbies. I love sleeping. Sleeping is probably my most favorite. It's probably my most favorite. I do read a lot. I
Mhm.
usually am reading probably about a book a week. We live right across from the library, so that's very convenient. Um, I used to love running, but my knees have basically retired from running. They don't really like that anymore. But I like yoga a lot. I've done that for a long time, and have just recently started doing hot 26, which is like a Bikram style yoga in really hot rooms, like 110, 115
Oh,
degrees.
wow.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Um, but I really do like that. And I don't know, just hanging out with my friends and family, and just, you know, reading, sitting, just doing mellow stuff.
Yeah. Cool.
Let's see. I mean, it's really great to have it as like a side thing that I can just kind of do on my off time. But if somebody needs something in a rush, like, for sure, like I can work my schedule around getting an order out.
Hmm.
I love like, you know, when people find out that the blankets, like if somebody has one of my blankets and they find out that I'm the one that made it, like that's always really cool. It's kind of cool, like the celebrities who have them, like I mean, Jerry Seinfeld, Brooke Shields, like there's a bunch of people that have my blankets, or had them at one point when their kids were little.
Hmm.
So that's kind of cool, and um, I just like that it kind of came out of a necessity.
Hmm.
I was pregnant with our daughter, and was planning on going back to work for sure. And then
Hmm.
at the last minute, I totally did a 360, and I was like, oh no, I don't want to go. I don't want to miss any of this. I want to do this. And out of the necessity, um, you know, thinking, oh my gosh, I've got to figure out a way to make some kind of money. Maybe I can sell these things.
Hmm.
And then it just kind of took off, and it did well. And I didn't ever have to do any kind of advertising or anything. And I mean, which I could have done that, but I always
Hmm.
kind of just wanted it to be like organic.
Hmm.
So, and it just kind of grew organically. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I look back and think like, wow, it's been such a long time. but I people really like them. They're really cute. So, you know, kind
Yeah.
of proud of myself.
Yeah.
I would say right now, my passion has been health, and particularly my own health.
Mhm.
Just I think as I'm getting older, I'm just seeing, things that don't work as well as they used to. So I'm very interested in just making myself as healthy as I can be and learning about new things and trying new things and just trying to be like physically a good version of myself.
Mhm.
Trying to just enjoy life, not be stressed. Enjoy the people that come in and out of my life, and just enjoy my family, and just not really, not take for granted that the great things that I have that
Mhm. Yeah.
just have kind of worked out for me. Um, Well, short term, in terms of my work with
Mhm.
Health Carousel, I definitely want to continue to be one of their top producers.
Mhm.
I'm really fortunate I found a job that works with my abilities and my like my natural gifts, I guess. It doesn't. It's. I mean, it's work, but it doesn't really feel terribly bad like work sometimes does.
Mhm.
Um, I do enjoy it, and I've been able to go to the President's Club retreats for almost as long as I've been at the company, and I want to continue to just do well and help like new recruiters that are coming in.
Mhm.
Um, I'd love to travel more now that the kids are older and kind of going their separate ways. We're focusing a lot more on family vacations that we can all kind of be together,
Mhm.
and just, you know, be focused on each other.
Mhm.
Um, and I'd really, really like to get to the point where my knees don't hurt. I'm doing all sorts of things right now for that.
Mhm.
Um,
Nice.
so yeah.
Cool.
Well, first of all, thank you. It's so nice to be an inspiration. I would say my kids inspire me a lot. I just kind of am amazed at how they navigate through the world.
Mhm.
My husband inspires me, his creativity, his skateboards, his cooking. The guy never took a cooking lesson ever, and he just comes up with crazy stuff. And your generation, like you
Mhm.
young people, you guys really inspire me. I think about like when I was in high school, and I think I mean, most of my high school was in California, so I grew up in pretty liberal surroundings, but
Mhm.
I just think that the generation, like the young generation now, with people being so welcoming to people of all colors and all walks of life, and
Mhm.
just just the fact that there is an LGBTQ community that is like, for the most, well, I mean, maybe I'm looking at the world in rose colored lenses, but for me, it feels kind of like, for the most part, people are welcomed
Mhm.
and are accepted. Where, when I went to high school, it wasn't really like that.
Mhm.
So I think that's really inspiring. And I don't know, I just love how young people are so much more, it seems to me, like concerned about the environment and other things outside of themselves. I mean, a lot of people think kids are so self-centered and teenagers are so self-centered, and it's all about them and TikTok and YouTube and blah 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 blah. But I think that like the flip side of that is like, yeah, there's a little bit of that, but also stuff that wasn't accepted 20 years ago, 30 years ago is accepted now as it should be. And I think that's because so many young people are really pushing for the change. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, thank you so much for letting me interview you. This was so fun.
yeah, thanks. Thanks for asking. It was
Oh,
fun.
sure, of course. Yeah.